Hi everyone. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about Amazon Web Services, a cloud service that you can use for free, at least to try for free, and it allows you to create machines that will work for you instead of having a local machine doing that. In today's session I'm going to talk a little bit how to create a Ubuntu instance with a GUI on it, how to SSH onto that machine, and how to use VNC to control applications, graphical applications within it. So to start off, if you don't have an Amazon account, you should have one. You should get one. It's free to use for a little while. And I'm going to sign in. Sorry about the internet. This is Australia. You can't use Netflix and the web at the same time. So bear with me. It might be a little bit slow. So just to give you a little bit of basis, why do I do this? The reason is very simple. Sometimes you want to run an application, say any kind of application that's GUI based. There's not a server for that, and it's not that easy to get it onto a server, and you want to use it in the cloud. Okay, I've got a user, so my username and password. So the best thing is to set a machine, set a virtual machine, and just have it run it. So Amazon Web Services allow you to use heaps of systems, either be the virtual service in the cloud, that's what we're going to use, be storage, database, analytics, and I love the machine learning modules, Internet of Things, management developments, heaps of services that Amazon provides you to. All the services have the same basics, so they are provided to you and they're scalable and they're built to your credit card given the time that you use them. So most of them are pretty cheap, some of them could be really expensive, and because it's based on the time that you're using it, if you keep using it, it will gonna add up a little bit. So we're gonna start up by using an EC2 instance, and I'm gonna tell you how to create one. So basically what we're going to do is create a new instance once we get it up and running. So here's the dashboard, here's what it tells you. So this is what I have, this is the kind of information that I actually have a volume 2 key pairs already in North Virginia. So I'm going to launch an instance. It's a very simple process, it's super easy to create a virtual machine. So I'll just click it, and when it decides not to beach ball anymore, okay, so choose your Amazon machine image, AMI. So there are different types of machine images that you can choose. Some of them are already pre-built by community. So let's say you want an RStudio. So there's already an RStudio on it. Some of them you can buy. They're pre-loaded with software, so you can buy them. But we're going to start off today by talking about how to do the simplest version of normal using Ubuntu server 64-bit. Alright, we've chosen the type of machine. Now, what kind of family can we use? We can use a general purpose machine, we can have a computer optimized machine, GPU instances in case you want to render something, memory and storage optimized. And there are very different versions of it. We're going for the T2 Micro, which is free. So it's a 1 CPU, 1 gigabyte machine. You can go for as crazy as this one, for instance, if you feel like to, or, well, there's even other machines that you can choose. And you can configure whatever you like. So we're going to the T1 Micro. We can already launch it, but we're going to configure every single step, so that's easier. First step is the number of instances that you want to do. Well, in this case, just one, but it allows you to do an auto-scaling group. Let's say if you're running a web server or something like that, you want a little bit more scalability, you can say I want 10 instances and scale it up until 10. That of course will cost you a little bit more. So we're going to leave everything like it is right now. We're going to add some storage. Now we can add new volumes. In this case we don't need to, but the size of 8 gigs feels a little bit insufficient. We go for 20. That should be enough. In a general purpose, we don't need much more. And now we're going to tag the instance. So we're going to give it a name. In this case we're going to call it Ubuntu GUI. Alright, so Next, we're going to configure our security groups. So security groups are like port forwarding or NAT forwarding in routers, basically telling the machine it's going to be listening on these ports. Every other port's going to be close to the world. So we're going to call this Ubuntu GUI. It's better just give it a name, and we're going to put SSH port 22 open. We can add new rules like I don't know, 5901 for VNC and have it access to everyone, but I'm not going to do this for two reasons. First reason, we really don't need to. We can tunnel the SSH we can tunnel through SSH and open this port as well. The other reason is that sometimes because of your organization or your university configuration, you can't really access ports that are not really standard. It doesn't allow you to access these ports. So we don't need it. We're not going to even use it. Now we review it, see how it is, all the things that we decided to do. Very good. Launch it. Now, a key pair. What is a key pair? A key pair is a little file that you're going to store in your computer that will give you or allow you to connect to the machine. So through SSH. So we're going to create a new key pair. We're going to give it an Ubuntu GUI name. We're going to download it, and it's going to be stored in our computer. I will advise you to keep it in a safe place. So it's even this is taking quite a long time. Love Australia's internet. Okay, all done. Let's launch the instance. And again, this is in our downloads folder, right? So while it loads, we can go back to the dashboard and see how it's running. Alright, we know that it has an IP and it's a TCU micro with a nice little IP. When it's done, it's going to show a connect button, and we're going to use that button to connect to the machine. So to connect, I'm going to use bash on git. So this is what I like to use best because it's basically a bash interface. It's basically Unix, so it's much easier to use. But you can use putty if you want to. Alright, should be alright. Still doesn't allow me to connect. Still pending. Alright, it's gonna take a little bit. Should be running. Come on. You're taking a little bit. I'll be back when it's done. Alright, all done. Now let's click connect. It will give me an example of how I can connect to it, and this is really good because it already gives us the code that we need. So we come here to bash, paste it. Not accessible. No. We need to change our directory, and now we connect. Alright, yes, I do want to connect, and it will connect to the machine. Again, sorry for the slow internet, but blame Australian ESPs. Now, what I'm going to do, okay, here I am connected to the machine. What I'm going to do is run a set of commands. The first one is a simple sudo apt-get update. So I get all the new packages, everything that's new. As you can see, even so it's fast, and the processing it's very slow showing. The internet's very slow. So the second thing that I'm going to do, and I'm going to come here to Notepad, is I'm going to install Ubuntu Desktop and a certain number of tools. So I'm going to install apt-get install. Oops. Okay, it's already doing it. So what I'm doing is installing 2.1 gigabytes worth of files, which is all the desktop components. This is terribly slow. Alright. All the desktop components, a VNC server. Oh, it's been aborted. Paste. Okay, everything's alright here. Okay, so get install Ubuntu Desktop VNC Full Server, GNOME Panel, GNOME Settings Daemons, MetaCity, Nautilus, and GNOME Terminal. Alright, build the dependency tree. Yes, I do. Okay, now we're gonna let it start rolling, and it's gonna take me about 5 minutes to get it done. So I'll be right back. Alright, it took me about 6-7 minutes to run, and now I got the entire desktop system. I'm gonna start my VNC server. VNC server. And the first thing it's gonna ask me is for a password. This password I'm gonna use to log into the VNC server. So I'm just setting up a password, verifying it. Alright, now I've got my VNC server working. Second thing that I'm gonna do is kill the VNC server. I do this by kill monitor number 1. Alright, why am I going to kill it? Because I need to go to the X startup file and edit it. So I'm going to go to VNC, and I'm going to sudo vim x startup. Alright, second thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to comment out everything. Comment out this, also this, and this. And because I've cheated a little bit, I've got what I need to run already pasted here. I'm gonna provide you with a link with all the where I found out everything about this. So this Stack Overflow thread where you can understand how to install the system and do these modifications. So paste, all done, Control C to save it, 2 points, double key to quit it. Alright, now we're gonna start we could start our new VNC server, but then again, because we're only listening to port 22, we couldn't use it. So the first thing we're gonna do is exit. Now, the second thing we're going to do is we're going to reconnect to the server, but we're going to use -L 5901, 2 points, local host 2 points 5901. This is basically telling me, yeah, connect to that host, but tunnel port 5901 as well. So everything that the host is telling you on port 501, put it to my local host port 5901. Right, I'm going to connect again. Beautiful, already connected. And the first thing I'm going to do is again kill my server. Yeah, it's a VNC server, it's not a VNS server. Okay, nothing there. Server, I'm gonna put a weird geometry of 1920 per 80. Start it up, and now put it word. So now my server is working. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is run a VNC viewer on localhost 5901. It asks me for a password, which is great because I gave him a password already. So this is telling me that the system is working. There's my desktop, and here it is. An entire desktop with Ubuntu running, which is not the one that I wanted. I'm gonna disconnect from this one. I'm gonna escape because I'm already connected on another machine. I'm gonna exit this one. and I'm going to connect again. See if I'm tunneling correctly. Should have this logos. Alright, I'm tunneling correctly. Let's just see if this is the machine that I want. Yes, it is. So it has one processor with 1 GB of RAM. It's a graphical interface, very simple to use. And as you've seen, 8 GB is not enough, 3 GB already gone, nearly full. And this machine is already running. And now I'm going to show you what it is, what I've used this for. Now, this is a very simple machine with one CPU, 1 GB of RAM. But let's just say you got an extra large machine with 40 cores and 160 GB, and you can run GUI applications on it. So that's why I use this system. Now I'm going to exit this. Yes, I'm sure I want to disconnect. I'm going to exit my virtual machine. And I'm also going to do something very important. I'm going to disconnect and I'm going to stop the instance that I'm running. Why? Because it's charging me. Even if it's not, it's still charging me the time. So whenever you're done with an instance, just stop it. That's the best policy that you can get. Now I'm going to switch back to my other machine, and I'm going to show you how do you have a big machine. So again, back -L 5901 points host 5901. Let's reconnect. So this is another machine that I'm using, and let's go and connect through VNC. I'm just going to wait a little bit so it prepares my desktop. And again, I'm connected to another machine. It says it's encrypted, but this one, it's a little bit bigger. So the reason why I use it, why I use this kind of systems, is because now I've got 40 cores, and I can run applications like KNIME, which is a graphical user interface to do data mining without any issue, and taking advantage of 40 cores and 160 GB of RAM. So as you can see, it loads pretty fast. It's not the fastest thing to load, but and because I'm a little bit laggy, it allows me to load all my workflows, and this might take a little bit because it's a huge workflow. It allows me to run very heavy machines. In this case, I'm running around 105 million rows of data, and I'm wrangling all that data. So it's something that would be impossible to do on a desktop machine. I can do it in this sort of machine. So let's go see how it's running. Just one core running, because it's single threaded. And the other thing that's very important, whenever you use software tools, GUI software tools, or even our Studio server tools, always make sure that you're using it on parallel processing. Otherwise, you're not going to take any advantage of having a virtual machine rather than a normal system. So as you can see, it's already loaded. It's a big and messy workflow. It's 105 million rows that are being read and then being processed, and it's a very slow system, but it actually works pretty well in a fast machine as this one. So that's the reason why I'm running a GUI on Amazon services, and the reason behind all that is, though there's a free version of KNIME for the desktop, there is not a free version for the server, and sometimes you want to use the power of a tool that's not very easily or accessible as a server. You want to use it in a GUI, and again, as you can see, I can do all of it. I can, and this machine I've got our Studio as well, which is really interesting. So I can sign in with our Studio, and the good thing about having RStudio in this machine is that if I do the same thing that I did with the port, but instead of 5901 I use 8787, then I can log into this machine in RStudio. So this is the video of how to build an AWS machine, connect to AWS, build an AWS machine, get Ubuntu on it, stop it, start it, configure everything, and run the GUI on it. I hope you enjoyed it. Any comments, any suggestions, just comment below. Thank you.